Hello investors and traders. Today I'll speak about 3 dividend stocks under $50 that you can considering buy now. But for the beginning I would like to mention that I watched the analytics on my channel and I saw that only 20% of the videos watched by people who subscribed. So for receive the all the updates, all the new videos, I'm encourage you to subscribe to my channel right now, because in the future I will make a lot of videos about dividends, about fundamental and technical stock market. So let's start for the first stock for today. It's Bank of America Corporation with the ticker BAC. And let's have a look on its chart using the Elliott wave. In my mind here, after the pandemic lows, we had an increasing channel, and it was the first wave, the second, the third, the first, and the fifth. It looks very organic. By the way, usually the third wave is usually the longest in the biggest in the impulse, so that's why I think that here it can be the right way. And then of course after the impulse usually you have a correction. So in my mind it's clean ABC move, A, B and C, and somewhere here I'm not sure that the correction is finished, but anyway now it's a correctional wave. Usually the correction is finishing when at wave 4, so most probably the correction is supposed to finish somewhere here about 40, 35, 36 bucks. So most probably we are very close to the finishing of this correction. More often than not, following Warren Buffett's lead is a good investment decision. Throughout his company Berkshire Hathaway, Buffett has long been in a Bank of America investor, owning more than 1 billion shares and almost 30% of the company. Part of the reason is reliable dividend. It was a rough 2022 year for Bank of America stock, but rising interest rates will work in its favor, because it increases its revenue from outstanding debt. In its 2022 third quarter, Bank of America brought in 24 billions in revenue, and 30 billion was from interest income. Revenue is likely to grow as the Fed continues to raise interest rates in the near future. The bank estimates an extra more than 2 billion bucks in income for every 1% raise in rates. So let's have a look on the fundamental parameters of BAC. So its total score, the rank is 74. The fundamental position, the total mark is not so high because the debt to EBITDA ratio is 3, and also the company of course has a debt on its balance sheet, so it's also not so strong. But anyway, the net margin about 30%. It's quite impressive, quite high figure. The evaluation is it looks okay. P ratio 10, PS price per share is 3, and the future projections, the estimates of the analysts, we can see that EPS, earning per share, for the future years will show a minor growth, but the revenue will grow more than 3%. Its dividend yield is more than 2%. The payout ratio very low, it's about 30%. It means that only 30% from its net income the company earned it pays its dividends. So it's a huge potential to increase its dividend payment. And by the way, pay attention that the 3-year dividend growth rate is 13%. So it's also can consider it like a very nice and a good opportunity for dividend investors. Also here we can see the operating revenue by business segments for Bank of America. The biggest is of course consumer banking is about 40%, the global markets about 20%, and global wealth and investment management 23%, and global banking is about 23%. the operating revenue by regions, we can see that of course most of its revenue the company earns in the US, about it's about 87%, and also the company operates in Europe, Middle East and Africa, and the other regions like Latin America and Asia is about 1%. Let's move to the next stock for today. It's Altria. It's a tobacco company. So in my mind, the chart. So it was the first wave, the second, the third. Third is usually the longest wave in the impulse, the fourth and the fifth. So here I think the correction finished, and now I'm expecting this company, these stocks to raise. So most probably we'll see higher than 75 bucks. So in this case, there is a potential to grow about 60-70% in the long run. And by the way, the RSI, the momentum indicator here is about 48, so it's also telling us that there is a nice potential for this company to grow. Most probably now it's oversold. So Altria, when it comes to tobacco, Altria reigns supreme, but its recent struggles have been well documented, and the company is trying to find its footing after a failed billion-dollar dual experience. It's last entrance into cannabis and the end of its marketing partnership with Philip Morris. Also, one of the best thing for Altria, at least in the foreseeable future, is the deal for capital loss is expected to take on its stake in the cannabis company Kronos Group by abandoning its warrant to purchase additional shares. Also, Altria's flagship cigarette brand Marlboro controls about 40% of the US cigarette market, but the company is banking on its growth coming from the execution of its Moving Beyond Smoking campaign, which looks to transition adult smokers to smoke-free options. That is sales, of course. How well, if at all, the company can execute this remains to be seen, but investor will be rewarded in the meantime. So the total score for Altria is 77, and the financial position is a little bit better than Bank of America. We can see that the EBITDA 3, interest coverage is about 10, so it's quite enough. And by the way, Altria score about 4. It means that the probability of default in the future years it's very low. The gross marginality very impressive, 67%, and margin also 22%. So any problems with marginality for this company? The P ratio, we can see that now it's 17, but the future P ratio is about 10. So the analyst expects this company to show a nice increasement in the income of this company, so also it can be considered like a positive sign. PS ratio is 4 for such marginality 22, so no, it's not so cheap. It's in my mind it's okay. By the way, the average P ratio now for S&P 500 is 15, so it's I can't say it's so a cheap stock. But anyway, the dividend of its dividend very impressive. Now it's higher than 8%, so 8% it's a very good figure, and the company continued to increase its dividend payment for the last 3 years. The growth rate was higher than 5%. And the last stock for today, of course, it's a dividend king, it's a dividend aristocrat, it's AT&T. So here, as I told previously, it was the first wave, the second, the third, the fourth already I think is very close to its finish. A major support level here, the first wave, and then I'm expecting to see a much higher AT&T in the future years. It's now, but its price is about 20 bucks. The dividend yield about 6%. Let's have a look on its fundamental parameters. We can see that quarterly its marginality increasing here because three quarters ago it was 12%, now it's 30%, 40%, and the last quarter is net profit margin is about 20%. So very impressive figure. Also, it's a big cap company. Its market cap is more than 100 billion. The payout is 50, so the company pay only half from its net income as a dividend. So most probably this company will continue to share a nice dividends with its shareholders. Here the figure for the dividends. We can see that last 5-6 years the average dividend yield is about 5-6%, and the last years, of course, it was 7 and 8. So very high dividend yield. And the projections, let's check it from the earning EPS. Yeah, it's expected to be stable, about 2.5, and the revenue here is from the quarterly basis, yeah, is expected to be also very stable. So what I can tell about AT&T, it's my mind very stable business, very stable dividends. It's a dividend aristocrat. And of course, AT&T I'm holding in my portfolio. I bought it last year, and I will continue to hold it for at least 2-3 years in the future. Why not? I like receive dividends yield about what is the dividend yield once again? Yeah, it is about 6%. So for me it's enough, because the treasury yield, the treasury bond now, let me check, the treasury yield bond now offers the 10-year only 3.6%. So AT&T offers twice higher. So for me it's a nice stock to hold. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, press the like button, and see you on the next time. Bye.